Hey everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. Get ready to smile because coming up is matchmaking really an ancient tradition? We'll meet some of the women who are making the practice relevant again in Israel today. We'll visit one of the most ancient olive farms in Israel, and it's wine o'clock somewhere, which is why we'll reveal the top Israeli wineries you can order from directly to your house. Every 2 years, the UK's beloved Prince Harry hosts the Invictus Games, which are kind of like a mini Olympics for military veterans that have been wounded or become sick because of their service in the battlefield. And for the first time ever, it looks like a team of Israel's IDF veterans will get to take part in the event.
For the first time since its foundation, Israel has been invited to participate in the biennial Invictus Games, an international athletic competition for injured military veterans. And the next competition, created by the UK's Prince Harry in 2014, will be set in Germany in 2022. But this comes after this year's games, scheduled for May in The Hague, were cancelled over fears of the coronavirus. Luckily for Israel, though, this means that the Israeli athletes can actually compete. This year, Israelis were only invited to observe, but after a meeting between Israel's ambassador to the UK and the game's chief executive, Israel is in the lineup for the next competition. And London-based charity, the Genesis Philanthropy Group, has also been tapped to finance an Israeli IDF team. Now finally, the Invictus Games include 10 different sports: archery, cycling, indoor rowing, powerlifting, sitting volleyball, swimming, wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby, and off-road four-wheeling challenges in a Jaguar Land Rover.
Now, it's not easy serving in the Israel Defense Forces, but luckily over 100 lone soldiers have been given the night of their lives. Check this out.
Who says that spa nights are for women only? Massages, facials, manicures, and pedicures. That's what over 100 lone soldiers said they wanted as a treat this week.
Good for you for being a proud man and getting a manicure.
We're going with like a clear coat. Yeah, I have some rules that I gotta follow. I really wanted some nice colors, but maybe even a design.
What, you're telling me the army won't let you use pink nail polish?
I wanted more than pink. Something nice with diamonds. Okay, you can't have everything. You make sacrifices in life, what can I say?
Sacrifices is right. Every year, thousands of men and women decide to leave their home countries and volunteer to serve in the Israeli Defense Forces.
Today in Israel, there are around 7,000 lone soldiers.
I'm from Manchester, England.
Teaneck, New Jersey.
From Indianapolis, Indiana.
Toronto, Canada.
45% of these soldiers are new immigrants, but the rest are young Israelis who are either orphans or don't have the family support that they need.
אנחנו חיילים בודדים ישראלים, יש כאלה שכאילו אלימות במשפחה שהוציאו אותם מהבית מגיל צעיר. יש כאלה חרדים שההורים לא מוכנים שהם יתגייסו.
Today, these lone soldiers are getting some extra love in the form of a spa night that's been especially organized for them at the Lone Soldier Center in Jerusalem.
We actually offered them a beer and poker night, and they were like, no, we want a spa night. We organize massage, facial treatments, manicure, pedicure, haircuts. Everyone working here is volunteering.
I saw a post on Secret Jerusalem looking for stylists, people that wanted to donate their time, and I love it, so it was easy.
I'm beginning to think that I should have joined the army because the guys in here are getting full body massages and foot massages.
The Lone Soldier Center in Jerusalem was founded in memory of Michael Levine, a lone soldier from Pennsylvania that was killed in action in 2006 during the Second Lebanon War.
He came to Israel. There were no support systems for lone soldiers in place at the time. He wanted to start an organization to help other lone soldiers.
We have 64 thermal shirts and pants. So almost everyone won something. I'm going to start picking out the names. Zalishon, Yoram.
At the Lone Soldier Center and their events really become these family events for them. To feel like there's community of people out there that are supporting them and helping them when they aren't with their families.
Every lone soldier tonight is getting a bag from Sabon. Are you excited to see what's inside?
I'm very excited.
We have some hand cream. Is that going to come?
Something I need. People are willing to give for something that we do. We're coming here to go to the army, and people are helping us all around.
Have you ever wanted to time travel to ancient Jerusalem? Well, ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh visited the Western Wall tunnels to touch the original and special stones that tell the story of the Jewish nation.
I just got here to the Kotel, also known as the Western Wall, which has over 2,000 years of history and some hidden parts that we're going to go check out right now. Let's go take a look at the Western Wall tunnels.
Believe it or not, but the Western Wall we see today is actually a very small portion of the original. The wall itself goes for about half of a kilometer, and the history that's below it will absolutely blow your mind.
When we come here for the first time, we can actually see a vast portion of the wall that we actually are not aware of. We're going to try to figure out what's the story of the Western Wall, what happened that nowadays we only see a small portion outside.
There's tons of history revolving around the Western Wall and Jerusalem in general that we don't even know. For years, the experience of visiting the wall involved a certain amount of imagination. However, thanks to extensive archaeological work, today's visitors can experience elements of the original structure which haven't been available for generations.
1948, due to the war, Jerusalem was divided and Israel was beyond the walls of the old city. And only after 1967 did we return. So during that return to the old city, did we start excavating here. There's some fascinating findings that we're going to see.
Our first stop on the tunnel tours is a quick explanation of how the old temple was built, the walls around it, what happened to it, and what we see now.
But you see these arches on the left. This is part of ancient construction, right?
Right.
This is part of a bridge that went here 2,000 years ago.
Okay, wow.
So here we are.
Oh, here we are.
That's the wall.
Wow.
Right here.
I have chills.
So this over here is an average stone in the Western Wall. As you can see, it's not that large, but this goes in about 1.5 meters inward, right?
Ooh.
And this is local limestone from the hills of Judea, and what we call Jerusalemite stone. But you can imagine a stone like this weighing between 1.5 to 3 tons. This is the largest stone in the entire construction of the Western Wall. Okay, it's almost 12 meters long.
Wow.
And some say that it's about 570 tons. Okay, it goes a few meters inward. If you want to see the top part of it, it goes up pretty high. You see the top here is quite crooked. Yeah. It's not straight and beautiful like the chiseling
bottom, yeah.
of the original. And that's because the destruction level is right above us.
It's not a proper visit to the Kotel unless you get blessed by an adorable lady.
Baruch אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם נותן ריח טוב בפירות. אמן. תודה. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
You see that we're underground inside a water cistern, which is nicely plastered all over it, okay, to hold water, contain water. This is how people lived here for thousands of years, up until 1967.
This could be pretty brutal.
So we're about to enter a tunnel, basically walking alongside the Western Wall.
I warned you I was claustrophobic, yet you're bringing me through this tunnel. Okay. We'll survive.
You'll do great.
Now, before we enter these narrow tunnels, let's say a little prayer.
My little prayer. Let's go to the tunnel. This is the actual wall to the right of us?
Mm-hmm. We're walking alongside it.
I am in the Western Wall tunnels right now, underground. It's a little claustrophobic, but so worth it. There's 2,000 years of history, culture, religions, different people that were here, different stories, and I'm just so blessed to be here and learn all about it.
This is the street that we were just at, and here you see the end of the street. And that's exactly where we are, because now we're standing on the original pavement from 2,000 years ago, and you walk here on the street and you come to a dead end. Okay, this was the dead end of the street. As you can see, this looks exactly like a construction site that was never completed. 2,000 years ago, we would be looking up and seeing the beautiful sky. It's not just a piece of history and archaeology that's detached from our current time. This is where we connect to our heritage. This is where we connect to our ancestors that were here 2,000 years ago, coming together as one. And the destruction came out of the idea of the disunity of Jerusalem. And here we are. We want to learn from our past, and we want to look into the future, to the bright future.
There's of course so much more to see here at the Western Wall tunnels and so much history and excavation to be learned about. But for that, you'll have to come and check it out for yourself. However, I just have one last question. Why do people come to the wall to pray out loud, yet still write notes and place them in the cracks of the Western Wall?
I remember as a child coming to the Western Wall with my father, and he'd write a note and he put it inside, and I asked him what's this about, and he said, if I have a question, then I write it down and I put it inside the wall, and eventually I get the answer.
For millennia, olives have played a significant role in Israel, from anointing kings to rituals and food. So ILTV's Natalie Twersky went to check out one of the most ancient olive farms in Israel.
When it comes to farming, Israel has brought the world some big innovations. But did you know that this tiny country is also the origin of one of the world's most important and ancient fruit, the olive?
Olives started in Israel 5,000 years ago. Italians can say they have good olive oil, but we started first.
Used as a symbol for peace, for anointing kings and many other rituals, olives have played a significant role in Israel for millennia. And to this day, it hasn't slowed down, with olive oil being among the key ingredients used in the Mediterranean kitchen, where it's prized for its rich and unique flavor. This is Guy. When he's not out trekking the Himalayas or the Alps, he's spending most days tending to his organic farm set amongst the picturesque Carmel Mountains.
What you see here is a harvest of table olives, which we will process tonight. Because our farm is organic and we don't use preservatives, they will stay for over 6 months in order to ripen up and become suitable for eating.
Makura Farm is 45 hectares in size, producing 20 tons of olive oil annually. Here you'll encounter 6 different varieties of olives coming from different parts of the world, including Israel's native olive known as tsuri.
It's originally from the north of Israel, but now it spreads all over the country. It produces table olives, excellent table olives, and excellent olive oil. It's a little bit sharp, the olive oil, but it has a lot of antioxidants. We have different tastes of oil for different clients. And
But the ones that they're harvesting today is native to
Israel. Yeah.
Each step in the growing process is fully organic, from the use of organic compost to the use of natural pesticides.
This is the compost that we use. It's a natural fertilizer that we use to fertilize the trees. And that's the only thing we give the trees. That's the only nutrition they get. Instead of using chemicals that deplete the soil, we use natural compost.
And these all-natural techniques are fitting when you consider that some of these trees here at Makura Farm date back to when organic was the only option. Some believe they date as far back to the Roman era.
It's amazing that trees that are more than 1,000 years, almost 2,000 years old, are still bearing fruits today. And we can just look at this tree and just imagine
How much it's seen.
It's seen
over the years.
Romans, it's seen Muslims, it's seen British, it's seen the start of Zionism.
Olive trees are among the short list of tree species which can easily resist drought, diseases, and even wildfires.
The olive tree gave fruits to our ancestors, and it still gives, the same trees are giving us fruits today. And that's really the uniqueness of this tree. And that's why I so much respect it and I so much appreciate it.
The oil is extracted and cold pressed in Makura's visitor center, where you can see all of the bottled olive oils and taste the different flavors.
Wow, it's a sharp taste.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah? Full of antioxidants.
Yeah. Wow, you can really taste the olive. It's very rich in flavor.
And I'll give you another variety, which is called Kalamata. We grow it.
Besides for olives, Makura Farm has many vineyards and orchards of lychees, citrus fruits, and avocados, all grown 100% organic.
Now it's the start of the harvest of the Ettinger, which is the earliest variety. And I'll show you how avocado is being picked.
Okay.
And you have to choose the big ones And because everything is green, you have to look really carefully.
Here.
And let's see if you find something. Well, this size
That's
is
a big one.
Yeah, this size.
Wow.
And what you do, you just snap it like this.
Today in Israel, most people use dating apps to start relationships, but that's beginning to change with the revival of an ancient Jewish tradition, matchmaking. Natasha Kirchuk has the details.
I have people like a little socially awkward. Those are the ones I charge more. I have to go to a lot of events with them and see how they're talking. And I'm like, you started a conversation with that girl and then you just walked away. Do you know you even did that?
Would you consider going to a professional matchmaker, or is that a tradition that's just outdated? How do most people date today in Israel?
I think on Instagram.
J-Date.
OkCupid.
Tinder. 1 in 5 18 to 24-year-olds use mobile dating apps, and those are numbers that just keep on growing.
But in Israel, a new trend is popping up. Professional matchmakers. Meet Jess and Gali. This is what they do for a living.
The reason I started matchmaking was because I saw that people were going on many dates, mostly through dating apps, and it wasn't continuing much past a second or third date.
Statistics show that 49 million people have tried online dating, but only 20% of committed relationships start online.
You have a million choices. It's like being in a grocery store of dating. Some people still view the matchmaking as this ancient practice done in the shtetl and not relevant today, but we've had a surge of people coming to us that are like, this is the best thing ever. Finally, it's like a headhunter for your love life. I have successfully matched 8 couples that got to marriage. It's the most fulfilling kind of work you can do.
People are just forgetting how to interact in real life. In fact, in the UK, half of British singles have never asked a date out in person, according to The Sun.
Do you think that it's weird when guys approach you in a bar?
I prefer that guys will do that. I don't want someone to choose me from the catalog. הלוואי ויבואו להתחיל איתי כמו פעם, old fashion, הלוואי.
So how much does it cost to hire a professional matchmaker? For Gali and Jess to organize dates and find good matches for their clients, the process can cost as little as 500 shekels a year. Afterwards, if a match becomes more serious, there's a success fee of 2,500 shekels.
אנחנו פוגשות את כל האנשים שאנחנו בעצם מחברות לזוגיות, וזה הופך את הדייט עצמו להרבה יותר מדויק.
That guy you just showed me, so picky, like wants the most beautiful, most intelligent, and then he's always traveling the world, so he's not here. So I don't know what he wants. This guy, he's American and Israeli, very sweet. We need to give him a makeover on the photos, because they're not good.
Most people have learned how to stalk other people online.
עכשיו לדוגמה, רציתי להכיר לך מישהו, הוא אומר לי, תשלחי לי את האינסטגרם. אני לא שולחת, לא האינסטגרם ולא הפייסבוק של הלקוחות שלי.
In 2013, the matchmaking industry was estimated to be worth a whopping $500 million in the United States. Would you consider going to a matchmaker?
Possible, yeah. If they have good, percentage of closing the deal, of course.
Everyone who I've ever matched, like they look at me and their faces light up. So there's no better feeling in the world.
הרבה פעמים זה לוקח זמן, אבל כן, בסופו של דבר לכל סיר יש מכסה.
It's wine o'clock somewhere, and today we're going to visit some of Israel's top wineries that allow you to order their delicious creations straight to your home. It's time for YVT's Beautiful Faces of Israel segment, produced by the incredible Inon El-Natan. Take a look.
The land of Israel is also called the land of milk and honey, blessed earth, among other things, growing vineyards for wine production. Today, we're going to introduce you to 3 wineries, and because of the special situation that we're experiencing in this era of the entire world, we invite you to purchase the wine, and the winery owners will send it to you with a special blessing from the Holy Land. Let's start. The first winery grows its 900-foot vineyards on the famous Greece mountain from Bible stories, Torah Winery.
Shalom everybody, I'm Vered from the Torah Winery in Israel. The winery is located in Rechelim. We came to the mountain of blessing that was empty. After 2,000 years of waiting, we come back to our land and we began to settle the land. We began to plant vineyards. And after 4 years, we saw that we have one of the best grapes in Israel. Like the prophet of Jeremiah, he said, "Od titik ramim be'arei Shomron." The meaning is one day you should come back to your land and plant vineyards and produce wine again. Tour Winery is a family business. As my husband, he is the winemaker, he is the best. I'm the manager of sales and marketing. Together we do a very good job. We have more than 70 awards, international awards from all over the world, that all of them says the wine of Samaria, of the biblical land, is one of the best wines in the world today.
Tour Winery also produces fine olive oil. Free shipping with the order of a box of 12 bottles of wine. The next winery sits close to the City of the Fathers, La Forêt Blanche Winery.
My name is Yaakov Briss. We're currently in La Forêt Blanche Winery located in Moshav Yatir. The name La Forêt Blanche is taken from a translation of one of the names of the temple, which was called Ya'ar HaLevanon. Our vineyard is called after Caleb ben Yefune, Sde Kalev. This is where we grow our grapes for these wines. Is located right near Me'arat HaMachpelah, near Hebron, where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are buried. And this is exactly the place where 3,500 years ago, people took the grapes to make wine and bring it to the temple. This is our deepest connection to the land and to the temple. That is the name of La Forêt Blanche. Chaya.
The last winery today is a 5-stone winery located right on David and Goliath's battlefield.
Hi, my name is Ilan Chasson. I'm the founder of 5 Stones Vineyards. Our vineyards are located in Givat Yeshayahu in the Ela Valley, the same place where David beat Goliath. And in this historical place, we decided to plant our vineyards. All our grapes are coming from this area, and we produce usually only blend wines in 3 levels of different labels: the DVSG, the nobility, and the virtuous. We are very proud that our wines of the very young winery that started production only 5 years ago already got very nice scores from the well-known wine critics from all over the world.
Well, that's all for today's Good Week Israel. I hope we helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Nittany Manson, and see you next week.